Hello, I'm Jabin Raya Solomon. My project title is Customer Segmentation Using Visual Learning. This project can be used to identify potential customers to guarantee their profits from the list. And the models that I've built here will be able to classify the customer based on their purchasing path. Classification algorithm, H clustering, K-means clustering, decision tree, random forest, KNN, XGBoost. Out of all these, the best models that uses the best accuracy is selected and saved in pickle format. So the pickle file further integrated with Flask application. Now I'll show the folders where I have saved all my files. Here I have separate files for Jupyter, CSV, Python and pickle, and I have a template in their respective file formats. I'll start off with Jupyter file, which is the first step to initiate the model, and then I'm going to import libraries, pandas, seaborn, sklearn, matplotlib, numpy. Then I'm going to import the dataset and save it under read CSV, as you can see. Now I'll move on to analyzing the dataset. Here I have used head function and tail function. The role of head function and tail function is to get the basic overview of the column that is being used. Next, I'll be using the info function that gives us the count node, nominal value and dtab. Doing the dtab, you'll find that every value in the database is integer value and no categorical or decimal values are present. The next function we use is describe function, which gives us the statistical description of all the variables we have. Moving on to the shape function, here the values are given as 2008, where 2000 is a row and 8 is a customer. So the next step is handling the missing values. The missing values in the dataset will lead to inaccuracies. So handling missing values is a crucial step in database preprocessing, where we can handle and remove the missing values. There is not any missing values in the below functions that I have written, so I've just added the count. We just use the value count function. I have mentioned three types of count value function here. First one is occupation, education and settlement size. Next step is data visualization. In data visualization will help us to determine the pattern and correlation. As you can see here, I have used a heat map. Basically, it gives us a graphical representation of the correlation of the colors. The lighter the shade, the stronger the relationship it has between the variables. The next I'm moving on to pair plot. Pair plot gives us the pairwise relationship. Then there is bar plot. It shows the graphical view of the counts in the occupation. Next is box plot. It is used to eliminate the outer layers and visualize the outliers. Here I have done that for age and income. Next step is feature scaling. One must use that when it normalizes the range of independent variables. Now moving on to unsupervised model building. First step is to import and initializing the model. We use elbow method. Elbow method graph is shown here. So here we have to find the number of clusters that is required, and for that I have used k-means model here and then plotted the graph as shown below. Then I'm going to initialize the model with the cluster. Here I've got the cluster value as 3 and predicted the clusters. So after prediction, add the predicted value in the dataset. As you can see here, the results after prediction are given below. Now we will be splitting the datasets into dependent and independent variables. Here k clause is going to be a dependent variable. The rest are independent variables. So right after that, I am splitting the data into train and test. So I've used a model selection from sklearn. For that, the test size is 0.2. Test size is given. I'm going to say that the test size will be 20% and the train size will be 80%. So next is supervised model building. Training and testing the model is the first step of this model. Here I'll be using a random forest tree and decision tree and XGBoost. I have initialized some models and then switched the test and train in the dataset. And after that comes the model evaluation here. Using the X-train predict, I have predicted the values, and then I'm going to match these from sklearn to predict the accuracy scores. After predicting the accuracy scores of these three models, that is tree and XG boost has the highest accuracy. Here I have used a model for saving it as a pickle file. So after saving, this pickle file is saved in the folder customer segmentation. So it will be given as a code of cust_xgb model.pkl. It will be saved in the customer segmentation folder that is in my drive, and the file format will be stored in the folder. So next is user interface, where I have used my HTML file as template folder. Before that, to view this HTML file, let's build an application Flask file. A Flask file is a web trained which is written in Python for server-side scripting, and it involves importing necessary libraries and initializing the Flask app. It predicts the values and passing it to the model and the rendering results onto HTML file. So after we have completed the creating the whole application Flask file, all we have to do is run the model application. Here I have already run the commands. So the first step is to create an environment, and I have already created the environment and installed the necessary properties required for this model. To run this model, after successfully creating an environment, we are going to run the command prompt with conda activate with a deployment name called env kishore. We can name it how we like. Before creating the database, you can name it with any names. I've used env kishore here. We will run that and enter the file name, then run the command called python app.py to run the Python file. Right after the command, we will get an URL code below. So now I'm going to copy this URL code to run it on the browser to view our web page. So this will be our end model. Now I'm going to select the options here. At last we will get the prediction result like this that we expected from this model. Also we can try to different values and get the accurate output, and that will conclude the purpose of the model. Thank you.